Scarsdale Raiders and the Ramapo Griffins. This is Mike Shiro along with Mike Burke, and what can we expect from these two teams today?
Well, Mike, yesterday I had the opportunity to watch the Ramapo Griffins play at Mount Vernon, and they really got destroyed. But as Marshall Reeve told Jack Hamner, and as I was speaking to Jack Hamner before the game, you really can't judge Ramapo on yesterday's performance. Mount Vernon just really totally outmatched them. This is a good team that is going to look to fast break. They were very successful in breaking Mount Vernon's 2-2-1 pressure yesterday, which is the same kind of full court zone press that Scarsdale uses. So Jack Hamner has opted not to start off the game with that type pressure. So Ramapo doesn't start off with a lot of fast break opportunities. Scarsdale, we saw in the holiday tournament, they split their two games, thrashing Mayapack in the first one, and then losing, pretty much of a heartbreaker to White Plains. Both teams very excited for this game.
Robbie Yadis with the steal right there. Andrew Wallach will bring it up for Scarsdale. Over to Knopp. Down to Feuerstein. Wallach swings it to Mike Bosian. Back to Knopp. Drives. Dishes to Wallach. Good fake. But it's a travel. Expecting a little couple jitters here from both teams. Of course, they're playing in Madison Square Garden.
Definitely. There are really two elements today, and two opponents really, the Madison Square Garden and the opposing team. So both teams, the first quarter should be just basically a feeling out process. And in the second quarter, we're going to get to see some of the reserves that don't always play. As far as Jack Hamner is concerned, the most important thing about this game is getting everyone to play.
So Ramapo breaks the ice, up 2-0. Knopp swings it over to Feuerstein. Fakes the three. Good drive in the middle. And Bosian will rebound it for Scarsdale.
Here are the Raiders in their half-court motion offense. They'll look to control the ball at first. But this is a team with, as Jack Hamner described, his most athletically inclined team. So they're going to look to push the ball a lot this year as well, more than we've seen in the past.
There you saw a beautiful pass by David Feuerstein. Andrew Wallach drew the foul. That's his first personal foul and the team. Scarsdale starting 5 seniors today. Stephen Cooper will be the first man off the bench. He's a junior.
That's the kind of leadership they need on the garden floor, that senior leadership, because everybody has the jitters, but if you send out the seniors, it may calm things down a little bit.
Yadis from the foul line. It's good. So Robbie Yadis with his first career basket in Madison Square Garden, and the first one for the Raiders.
Rob Yadis is going to be talking about that one for the rest of his life. We know that.
Hopefully that won't be his last one of the day. Number 22, Nichols with the baseline jumper. Good rebound by Knopp. Clears it to Scarsdale. Here you see the up-tempo, which they like. Wallach loses the handle on the layup. Rebound by Nichols again.
Watch for Jeff Nichols to have a very productive day. Yesterday against Mount Vernon, he was really their sole provider, so to speak.
There you saw Chambliss drawing the foul. Scarsdale's really going to have to rebound today. That will be one of the keys. It appears that Ramapo does have a height advantage on them. Foul was on number 20, David Feuerstein. That's his first foul of the day. So Nicholas trying to complete the three-point play now.
Scarsdale must hit the defensive backboards with authority if they hope to get the easy opportunity baskets, which they are looking to get most of this game. They're usually primarily a half-court offense, but like I said before, Jack Hamner is looking to push the ball this year with a very athletically inclined team as Dave Feuerstein hits the 18-footer.
Good ball movement that time by the Raiders. Hit the open man, and Feuerstein was able to can the 15-foot jumper. There you see maybe some of the jitters right now. Number 20, Helter coughs it up. Good pressure by Scarsdale. Feuerstein on the baseline. Steps on the end line, and it will be Ramapo ball.
You'll see Scarsdale now take to the defensive end of the floor, and they go into a 2-2-1, which is called 22. Their zone pressure, very effective press. It is a press that Ramapo was pretty much able to break, however, against Mount Vernon yesterday.
They lead 6-4.
Wallach on the break, little shake and bake, and he draws the foul. I think the Scarsdale's come out very poised here. You know, playing in the Garden, you might expect that a lot of turnovers early on, a lot of careless fouls, but that hasn't been the case. The Raiders have come out and really asserted themselves early on here.
I think Wallach got lucky to draw the blocking foul there. I think McKenzie established position, but there was too much movement to convince the official. So the Raiders will take the ball out underneath their own basket.
6-4 is our score, just starting off here. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Good pressure that time by Helter of Ramapo. Feuerstein dumps it down to Adis. He's double teamed. Pops it out to Feuerstein. Knopp sets for the three. Decides otherwise. A beautiful dish to Bosian. He's fouled. Beautiful pass that time by Doug Knopp. Little no look.
Doug Knopp, Scarsdale's point guard, very much resembling the Knicks point guard, Mark Jackson, on that pass. Look away, and he found Bosian, and Bosian with the beautiful head fake. Head and shoulders, and he'll shoot 2 free throws.
So Mike Bosian at the line. First one's good. Mike Bosian played well in the 2 Christmas tournament games. You know, he's basically a role player for the Raiders. He's not looking to score too much, you know, maybe 6 to 8 points a game. He plays good defense and is just an excellent swingman.
You hit it on the ladder right there, Mike. He plays terrific defense. A couple of tremendous block shots in the first game against Mayapack, and he just plays solid, straight-up man defense.
And Ramapo turns it off again. Raiders looking to fast break. Feuerstein on the break. And that time, that break was worked to perfection. Knopp bring the ball up, hit Feuerstein on the wing, and was able to execute the 2.
Feuerstein did a beautiful job of shielding his body as well as the basketball on that play. As the Raiders' 2-2-1 zone pressure forces the Ramapo Griffins into a turnover, a 10-second violation. We have our first substitution of the game.
It will be Brian Weinstein, a junior, coming in for Michael Bosian. And Stephen Cooper coming in for Andrew Wallach.
Here we have a cameo appearance. Knicks assistant trainer Tim Walsh takes to the purple seats courtside.
Mike, only you wouldn't know the Knicks assistant trainer. Many hours of watching the Knicks. So Feuerstein, baseline jumper's no good. I like what he's doing though, you know, he's taking the ball strong every time.
Definitely, David Feuerstein is a scorer. He's got a scorer's mentality. And for the Raiders to have a successful season for the rest of the year, he's going to have to put the ball in the hole, and I think he will be successful in doing that. But he's got to look for his shot, as he's doing, you know, in the early stages of this game, showing no jitters of playing in the Garden. Neither is McKenzie.
Yes, that was Chambliss, number 33 for Ramapo. Good penetration. Feuerstein swings it over to Weinstein, dumps it down to Cooper. Good fake, able to dump down, but not able to execute. Ramapo looks a little bit shaky early on. They haven't really been able to set up their offense, and they've had difficulty stopping the Raiders on defense, even though they are up by a point. But I think Scarsdale should not be worried because they're executing much better than Ramapo is at this point. Rebound there by Feuerstein, off the Knopp. Feuerstein swings it to Cooper. Foul line jumper is good.
Stephen Cooper.
Well, Jack Cameron will take that, but Cooper's place on the floor, on the offensive end at least, is in the low blocks. And that's where the Raiders have to get it to him if he is to be successful. They were unsuccessful in doing so in the second game of the holiday tournament, and that's why they lost. Steve Cooper really never got into the flow of things because they weren't hitting him on the low blocks. That's where he's effective. He's a big man, and that's where he should play. But they'll definitely take the foul line jump.
So Mike Bosian checks back in now, replacing Robert Adis. Adis has 2 points. Weinstein wide open. The 3 is good. So the Raiders take a 12-8 lead. And Weinstein has his first 3 of the game. Good pressure by the Raiders. Always looking to trap. A little bit of a force that time by Nichols, but he's able to get the rebound and puts it back in.
So far during this game, I see Scarsdale's 2-2-1 being a lot more successful than Mount Vernon's 2-2-1, and that's because maybe Mount Vernon slacks off on the defensive end a little bit because they know they're going to score 90 points. Scarsdale has to make up for the lack of potent offense on the defensive end, and that's probably why Ramapo has not really broken this press so effectively.
They saw a long three-pointer by Doug Knupp. Very surprising the Raiders have been able to execute this well early on in their first Garden appearance, and their last, for that matter. Another turnover by Ramapo. They're really having trouble on the offensive end. Just a tribute to the Raider defense. Knopp swings it to Weinstein. Good drive. Looking to dump it off for Cooper, but kickball on Ramapo.
Number 12, Tyrone Jordan into the game for Ramapo.
Tyrone Jordan will replace Russell Koser now for Ramapo.
Let it be known that as hard as Jack Hamner is coaching this game and as much as he would like to win it, because it is a regular season game and it will count on the stat sheets, he is enjoying himself to the fullest. There was a lot of preparation that went into having these two teams play here today. And now that it's all over and they can just play the game, he's having a great time. And what he's really looking forward to is the second quarter when he can get all the reserves in that don't always play. And he's just really looking forward to everybody getting on the Garden floor. Because like you said, Mike, it's the first and last time that most of these people will be on the floor, probably all of them.
Good strip that time by Bosian. The Raiders really playing excellent defense now, which they usually do. Nichols dumps it into Foster. Excuse me, Jordan.
As awed by this arena as these players must be, the desire to win is there, because when you play at the Garden for one time in your career, you want to win it. And Brian Weinstein right there showed you beautiful body control and shielding the ball from the defender.
Weinstein now with 5. He's the Raiders' leading scorer. Showing no jitters at this point. Good pressure now by Weinstein. 5 seconds left now in the quarter. Number 24, Ray. Puts it up, and that's the end of the first quarter. Scarsdale leads 17-12 at the end of 1.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score. Scarsdale 17.
They played an excellent first quarter, I thought.
Yeah, the first quarter really just a feeling out process, and because of that, the fact that they have the 17-12 lead is really, that's an added bonus. Now, right now, we're going to see most of the reserves coming in. Todd Aaron and Ryan Knopp will be the number 1 and number 2 guards. David Siegel will probably play the small forward. Brian Jordan and Brian Butler will be the 4 and 5 men. Now, these are 5 people that, and 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them, have seen quality time thus far in the first 2 games. So it's really not, Kaminer having his reserves on the floor, but everybody will get a chance to play, as you see.
Siegel and Knopp will be the guards, along with Todd Aaron, Brian Butler, and Brian Jordan, all juniors. Siegel, 8-footer, no good. Ramapo will clear it.
That is something Ramapo did very well yesterday, rebound off the defensive glass. It's just unfortunate that Mount Vernon was blistering from the field, so they didn't have the opportunity to do that too often.
Ramapo just working the ball around now, dumps it down. Number 52, Young, not able to handle it, and another turnover, and the Raiders will have control.
I'm quite surprised at the tempo that Ramapo was playing. I thought they would come out, in a full-court, fast-breaking type game after what they did yesterday and successfully breaking Mount Vernon's press, but they did get blown away in that game, and maybe they lost just a bit of their confidence because of it. But they really shouldn't, because Mount Vernon is the class of this county and possibly the class of this state.
Well, I think if the Raiders keep up the intensity on defense, I think Ramapo is going to have no choice but to go to the up-tempo game if they want to come up on top of this game. Beautiful move that time by David Siegel. And that's what he's on the floor to do, is score. Jordan clears for Aaron, puts it on the floor, and he draws the foul, number 35. Gilden.
The Raider press, very effective. Defense creates offense, and it certainly did on that time. On that last possession, the Raiders' 2-2-1 defense came up with the big steal, and now Todd Aaron will go to the... Well, he was all set to take the first free throw of the game for the Raiders, but it will be Raider ball underneath.
Knopp inbounds to Siegel. Kicks it out to Aaron. Back to Knopp. And the Raiders will look to set up their half-court offense. Aaron thinks about the three, decides otherwise. Swings to Siegel. He can hit that. Knopp back to Siegel for three. Air ball. Good, beautiful hustle by that time by Todd Aaron.
Dennis Rodman.
Not quite, but the Chief, Robert Parrish, Brian Butler.
No basket.
When you're in the garden, you mention the pros. The Chief, Robert Parrish.
Speaking of the number 34 on the break. Smart foul that time by Aaron. Number 34. Ward didn't like it, though.
That was a very good foul. If you're going to foul the man, especially when he's that close to the basket, you got to make sure you get a good chunk of him so he doesn't get the three-point play. Madison Square Garden going through their pregame warm-up as they get ready for the Knicks and Heat, which follows this game. See if the Knicks can get back on track. They trail the Nets in the standings right now. That's not too good.
Back to high school basketball. Ward is on the line with 2 shots. Misses the first. Our score right now is 19-12, the Raiders. Ramapo yet to score in the second quarter. 6:03 left. And the second one is good. Ryan Knopp pushing the ball up for the Raiders. Second quarter so far, a little bit slower pace than it was in the first quarter. Beautiful pass that time by David Siegel. Brian Jordan unable to connect, but he gets his own rebound and is fouled.
Brian Jordan very tenacious on both the defensive end of the floor and on the backboards. As you saw right there, he got his own missed shot, took it strong to the basket, and drew the foul. Substitution for the Griffins now.
Number 32, Newton Paul into the game for the Griffins.
Yes, Paul in.
He replaces Pierre Castle.
And he's replacing Kestel.
On the line for the Raiders.
So Brian Jordan on the foul line now. He'll have 2 shots.
2 shots.
A little bit quiet in here compared to some of the Knicks games. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think that with the way the Knicks are playing, this may be very boisterous for what we may see later.
And Jordan nails both of them. Raiders up 21-13.
I really didn't expect to see 18,000 fans here for this one, though. Would have been a thrill, though.
Yeah, not only for us, but for the players. Here's the full court pressure now by the Raiders. Cameron hasn't slapped it on too much early on. Rebound by Brian Butler. He clears it for Todd Aaron. Good dribbling. Knopp in the corner. Had Siegel for a second.
Mike, I'm the color commentator here today, and we're sitting very close to where Walt Frazier does his color commentary for the Knicks on the radio. And I'm getting this unbelievable urge to use words that I have no idea what they mean. You getting that urge?
No, sorry.
The Griffins foul.
I don't watch the Knicks every single night.
That's his first. And Ramapo is over the limit. Todd Aaron on the line for the Raiders, 1-1.
So Aaron draws the foul. He'll be on the line for 1-1. Raiders playing very well right now. First one's no good.
Todd Aaron saw 5,000 fans with their waving arms behind the basket, and that's why he fell short on that free throw. That foul will be before the shot.
I don't like that call by the ref. I thought he was in the act. But number 50, Bernstein will be on the line. Oh, no, excuse me. Ball out for Ramapo. Bernstein drives the middle. This is for Ward. Little double pump. Wade missed.
The Raiders are playing very solid straight-up man defense, really not allowing any easy opportunities at the basket right now for the Griffins. I think what Ramapo has to do is go with the style that they used yesterday against Mount Vernon and try to up-tempo the ball, get as many layups as possible. Because the Raider half-court man, as I said, has just been tenacious.
Chris Hudgens getting ready to check in for the Raiders now. As we said, Kaminer was going to play everyone. Missed 3 at that time by David Siegel. Todd Aaron with a beautiful move, just misses. And one quick note, Greg Grant of the New York Knicks is walking about 10 feet in front of us. He's a second-year player. Getting a little piece of the high school basketball action. But only about 5 seconds worth as he goes straight into the Knicks locker room. There we see Hudgens checking in. He'll replace number 10, Todd Aaron. Did a good job while he was in. Jack Kaminer calling out the defensive play, which is 50, whatever that means. And another turnover by Ramapo. Knopp swings it for Siegel. Lots of contact now. Hudgens with a risky cross-court pass, but it turns out all for the better as Brian Jordan hits the 8-foot baseline jumper. All sorts of pressure being exerted right now by Scarsdale. David Siegel with a beautiful move. Little scoop shot that time. Raider press really doing a lot of damage here for Scarsdale in the second quarter. And the Raiders are up by 12, 25-13. Ooh, bad call that time by the ref. Looked like Siegel got his hand on that one.
The Raiders are playing superb defense, both in the full court press and in their half court man. As a substitution, David Siegel will come out. A couple of buckets for 4 points, replaced by Chris Richards.
23, Chris Bugg into the game for Ramapo, replacing Michael Young.
Young checks back in for Ramapo now. Had a bucket in the first quarter. 3:40 left, second quarter, 25-13. The Chief, beautiful turnaround. Brian Butler, his first 2 points of the game.
13.
Ramapo gets the offensive boards, misses, blows the layup. Ward with the rebound, blows another layup. And another turnover by Ramapo. Scarsdale really exerting themselves on defense. Ooh, travel that time by Brian Jordan.
Ramapo is really playing tentative basketball at this point, and I'm sure it has something to do with the fact that they got blown out of Mount Vernon yesterday. They're not sticking with what got them. I'm not going to say what got them there because they're not anywhere yet there. But I'm going to say with what broke Mount Vernon's back yesterday. Just a very little bit. They were able to break through the 2-2-1 defense and get some layups. So far, I haven't seen it. We have a substitution. Joe Sansone replaces Brian Jordan, who played nicely.
And the team's fifth.
Yes,
Brad Gilpin on the line.
Jordan with a bucket or two.
2 shots.
And Bernstein on the line for the Griffins. Nails the first one. Knopp looking to push it up now for the Raiders. I really like the way Scarsdale's moving the ball in their half-court offense. Good drive that time by Knopp, unable to hit the layup.
The Raider offense in the half court, when they run their control, their motion, and they pass it around and look for the backdoor cut, really does not call for a lot of one-on-one play. But if Ryan Knopp is able to take it to the hole like that and find the daylight, Jack Kaminer will certainly take it.
The Raider foul was charged to Joe Sansone.
Gurian Mander getting ready to check in now.
Is over the limit. Number 44.
He'll replace number 00, Brian Butler. I have an urge to say Robert Parrish, but
Julius Ward on the line for Ramapo, 1-1.
Ward on the line now. He's been aggressive here for the Griffins, one of the few bright spots. Richards on the baseline, and he gets a nice roll. Scarsdale's really shooting the ball very well, making a majority of their shots. Out of control that time is Ramapo. And a jump ball is called.
You can really credit Scarsdale's defense for the lack of offensive play by the Ramapo Griffins. Yesterday they were able to put the ball in the hole quite a bit against the Mount Vernon Knights, but against this Scarsdale team, not much offense, not much doing on the offensive end.
Blocked that time by Mander. A beautiful save by Ryan Up. Raiders defense just suffocating the Griffins on offense. Mander, a little double pump, gets his rebound, and he puts it back up, no good. Steal that time by Knopp.
Nice.
Dish to Samson. Man on.
Score it.
Oh, almost. Beautiful play that time by Samson, shielding his body from the defender. Was able to draw the foul and almost got the bucket.
The key to that play, though, was the anticipation by Brian Knopp. What a great denial sequence right there. Stepped in, made the steal, and had the presence of mind to make the good pass to Samson. Samson now on the line, and he'll get 2 shots, hopefully making both. Maybe not.
Joe Sansone on the line for Scarsdale. 2 shots.
Just under 2 minutes now, first half. 29-15, Raiders up. As far as we can see, they're in control.
I know you're pretty excited, Mike, for next year's Garden Vision.
Sorry, I haven't really been thinking about it that much. But
boy, the Raider defense really impressing me.
The key thing, I think, is the Raiders have really kept their poise here, you know? They haven't gone out of control. They haven't taken bad shots. They haven't committed stupid fouls. As you see, Samson in the key. Good, strong rebound that time by Richards. 18-footer, baseline, short. Hudgens with the rebound, put it right up, blows the layup, and Ramapo will clear.
You talked about how Scarsdale is able to stay under control despite the element. When you play that half-court offense, it really forces you to stay under control. If you play the full-court, fast-breaking game, because of the element and because of the adrenaline that is flowing, you may get a little out of control. But Jack Hamner knows the situation, and he's always had this offense, and it's perfect for the situation.
One of the few times the Griffins have been able to set up their half-court offense. But they don't move the ball. That's the main problem. Too much dribbling and out of control. If they would work it around, look for the open man, try to get like a 15-foot jumper, they'd be all right. But they haven't been able to do that so far.
1-1.
First one is good. Raiders up by 14.
I think the topic of conversation in the Ramapo locker room, as we are now 56 seconds away from the halftime intermission, will be up-tempo the basketball. Force Scarsdale into a full-court transition game. Got to convert on the layups, though. They had the opportunity right there.
Yeah, it's the one thing I've noticed about Ramapo is the basic skills are not there for most of their players. Like that one, that was a basic layup. You have to convert that if you're playing in Madison Square Garden against a very strong defensive team like Scarsdale.
You just saw number 31, Julius Ward, hit that 8-footer in the paint. Beautiful screen set on Chris Richards to free him up for that shot. That's just a basic offensive set. Something that Ramapo has not been too successful in doing this first half. Under 10 seconds now.
Chris Hudgens hits Samson on the wing. That's short. 2 seconds. Bomb. Way short. And that's the end of the first half. Very impressive playing by Scarsdale. Our score is 30-19. Scarsdale up by 11 at half. We'll be back with the second half. We're back at Madison Square Garden. Beginning of the second half. Scarsdale is up 30-19 and are basically in total control of this game against Ramapo.
Well, defensively, yes, they are in total control, but offensively, I like to see a little bit more. Now I think we will, being that Jack Hamner has played everybody he wants to play. All the reserves have got in. One of them got hurt, as a matter of fact. Chris Richards is sitting on the side behind the basket with a sore ankle. Now I think we're going to start to see the Raiders play some real solid basketball. Both defensively, they'll continue that, and on the offensive end, as Wallach takes it strong to the hole and draws a foul.
So the starting five back in now for the Raiders. That is Bosian, Wallach, Knopp, Adis, and Feuerstein. Knopp with a good swing to Wallach. Good penetration. May have been blocked. And the ball was picked up by number 33, Chambliss, for Ramapo. So both starting fives back in for respective teams. Beautiful pass that time by Chambliss to number 55, McKenzie.
You can't beat good interior passing. Nothing more that a coach would like to see than interior pass like that. Now, most of the time, that interior pass, that home run pass, is a turnover pass. Beautiful backdoor by the Raiders. That's their offense.
I think if Ramapo can execute a couple more inside passes like that, amongst other things, they should be all right in this game. At least should be able to narrow the lead. Going into the fourth quarter, I think they're going to want it at least under 10, if not closer. Intercepted that time by Feuerstein. Knopp may have been fouled that time by Helter. No call made. Strong move by Doug Knopp. Lost control. And here comes Ramapo. Helter looking back door. Nothing doing. Once, I think that was a mirror play to the last one. Feuerstein picking it off again. Beautiful pass once again to Andrew Wallach, who skies for the layup.
That's what I'm talking about. Now the Raiders have gotten used to the element. They've gotten used to the garden floor. They've played everybody they have to play. Now we're going to start to see the offensive end start to shine a little bit.
Helter with a force, cleared by Knopp. Knopp to Wallach, who's exploded here in the second half. 6 points.
The Raiders are on fire, and Ramapo gets a TO. Timeout, Ramapo.
Timeout.
Yes, the Raiders have exploded. Some beautiful passing and some beautiful finishing by Andrew Wallach. Once again, it all starts on the defensive end for Scarsdale. 2 steals by Feuerstein and a good rebound by Knopp. Raiders definitely executing the way they want to.
Mike, obviously this is a 20-second timeout because we have to stay on the air. You're supposed to laugh now.
Yeah, pretty funny. So, with just over 2 minutes gone by here in the third quarter, Raiders have bursted out to a 15-point lead.
They're on a 6-0 spurt, and they're making it happen. Oh, check that 6-2 spurt, and they're making it happen on the defensive end of the floor. Feuerstein with 2 steals, Knopp coming up with a rebound, running the floor beautifully as the floor general. Beautiful passing to Andrew Wallach, and he's really being the finisher that he is supposed to be for this team. He's the real fast break, slashing type player that Scarsdale has.
Looked like Ramapo was off to a good start with that beautiful interior pass, but it's been all downhill since here in the third quarter for the Ramapo Griffins. Raiders applying the full court pressure now, which was so effective in the first half.
The only difference in that pressure is that was a man pressure where they double the ball, and that 2-2-1 is obviously zone pressure. But both very effective, as is the half-court defense, just unbelievable.
So that's a third steal by David Feuerstein in the third quarter. Stripped that time by Ramapo. Jordan on the break. Not Michael Jordan, but nevertheless, some Jordan. Number 22, Nichols, swings it for Helter. 3-point bomb. No good. Here comes Wallach on the fast break. This is the Knopp. May have traveled. Kicks out to Adis. Puts it on the floor. He's stripped by Helter. Feuerstein with another steal. Doing it defensively is David Feuerstein in the third quarter. And Andrew Wallach is charging.
I'm going to rewind this tape just a few plays to the Rob Adis drive to the lane. As versatile a big man as Rob Adis is, he still is a big man, and he should be setting up on the low block. Really shouldn't be looking to penetrate like that, especially since I noted earlier that the Raider offense really doesn't call for a lot of one-on-one basketball. So Adis should be content to set up on the low block and scream for that ball in the post.
That brings to a keynote. The Raiders are really without the classic big man, you know, the big guy who's just going to stand in the middle and just put in little hooks or whatever. And that may cause them trouble against the Mount Vernons and New Rochelle's, the teams who have the really big guys in the center and at the power forward position. That's why Jack Hamner has gone to the up-tempo offense rather than sagging in on defense and playing the half-court offense. Steve Cooper with the miss. Here comes Jordan.
Once this game is over, both these teams will realize what kind of shape these National Basketball Association players are in. They are going the length here today, and both teams are going all out, and they're going to be drained after this one.
Ward with a good feed under. Powerful layup that time by Nichols. Slapping a little glass there. Little showboat. Wallach, 18-footer. Decides otherwise. Cooper trapped. Gets it out to Knopp. And the Raiders will set up their offense. Big seam in the defense. And Wallach takes advantage of it and draws the foul. He's been drawing a lot of fouls today from Ramapo. Maybe a little bit too quick for them.
The Ramapo foul is charged.
Brian Weinstein checks in now. He'll replace Knopp. He's played pretty well here. Feuerstein kicks it down to Cooper. Good move by Stephen Cooper. No good though. And it's cleared by number 50, Bernstein. Here comes Jordan over the timeline. Up top to Ward. Jordan dribbling a little bit too much. Forces one. And Wallach with another rebound. Has Weinstein on the break. Pulls it up. Beautiful stop that time by Jordan. Right in the face of Andrew Wallach. And Mike Bosian draws a charge. As we say, Bosian, the role player, plays excellent defense, and therefore, and right there, he showed it.
On that previous Raider fast break, Andrew Wallach took it to the hole and then pulled it out. Jack Hamner has said to me that Andrew Wallach has a green light on the fast break. However, when he gets tentative and pulls it out, that light quickly turns yellow. So Andrew's got to take it strong to the hole and not pull it out and make the turnover pass like that. But he is a solid ball player. So solid that he's looking to dunk here in the Garden today.
Little full court pressure now by Ramapo. Looking to change it up a little. Everything that they've tried has been ill-effective here. And Scarsdale does a good job of breaking it. But at backcourt, Stephen Cooper gets a little bit careless there. Here's Jordan with the ball. He's been pushing the ball up a lot here for Ramapo in the third quarter. But many of the attempts have not been good. And Weinstein draws the 5 seconds. You got to move the ball. You can't hold it like Jordan just did.
Too much dribbling leads to the turnover. 5-second violation. Got to beat Scarsdale with the pass, keep them on their toes. And on the defensive end of the floor, you want to make Scarsdale beat you off the dribble and not with the smart passing. Because if Scarsdale beats you with smart passing, with the backdoor passing like we saw earlier in this period, they're going to nail you. If you beat them off the dribble, you can switch from the weak side and recover in time. There's the backdoor we're talking about.
That's worked all day here in the third quarter. Weinstein finding Feuerstein that time.
Scarsdale leads 38-23.
Feuerstein's played exceptionally well here in the third quarter on both ends of the floor. Along with his couple of assists and a couple baskets, he's also had 4 steals. So he's doing it all here in the third quarter. And a beautiful steal that time by Weinstein. Goes up, and he blows the layup, gets the rebound back, puts it up with the left hand, gets his layup, gets his rebound again, and it's a loose ball. Bodies go flying. No call yet, and it's Raider ball.
As that sequence just showed, these players are not only here to play on the Garden floor, they want to win this game.
I think Weinstein got a little bit tentative that time. Didn't go strong to the basket.
No, but he definitely had one eye on the defender. Can't be like that. You got to go strong to the hoop. No tentativeness.
So Mike Bosian now replacing David Feuerstein. who played very well in the third quarter. Brian Jordan also in now for the Raiders. Knopp looks in for Cooper. His clone will be stepping onto this court later on in Ronnie Cycli of the Miami Heat. Similarities are definitely there, as you've noted many times, Mike.
Oh, Mike, I think Coop's going to get you for that one tomorrow. Here go the Raiders. Full court, man pressure. Beautifully done. That's the way to play a full court man press. And you have to beat the press with the pass.
I think Weinstein definitely makes up for that blown layup with that steal and layup. Couple steals now for Weinstein, along with his 7 points. Impressive effort here on the Garden floor. Nichols draws the foul. Little double pump is no good.
If Ramapo does have a go-to guy, it is Jeff Nichols, number 22, who will step to the line and shoot 2 free throws. Yesterday against Mount Vernon, and talking to some of the Ramapo fans, Jeff Nichols is their man, and he's the guy who started last year as a sophomore. He's their co-captain as a junior. And if Ramapo is to get back into this game, trailing by 17 with 47.5 seconds left in the third, he will be the man behind the comeback. As Ramapo calls timeout.
We'll take a break with 47.5 seconds. As you see in the NBA arenas, they have the tenths of seconds. With the Raiders up 40-23. So 40 seconds left here in the third quarter. Bernstein puts it on the floor. Pull-up jumper is no good. Gets it back. Good hustle that time by Bosian. And here come the Raiders with half a minute left, third quarter.
The Raiders don't know how to do anything but go all out. There is no playing at half speed, so to speak, for the Scarsdale Raiders. They play the game 100%, 100% of the time.
Jack Cameron yelling out the amount of time left to his players. Cooper puts it on the floor, kicks it out for Weinstein. 20-footer is an air ball. What hustle by Bosian. Beautiful hustle that time by Bosian, but to no avail as the quarter comes to an end. With the Raiders up by 17, 40-23. We'll be back in the fourth quarter. An outstanding career. In a backup role now for the Knicks. Occasional starter. He orchestrated that brilliant win over the Boston Celtics in the Game 5 of last year's playoffs. And what else can you say about him, Mike?
One of the all-time great money players, especially in the playoffs, always elevating his game at the playoff time come the spring of the playoff season. Just a great individual.
Enjoying the action here. Fourth quarter action. Not as tight a game as some had hoped it would be. But nonetheless, the Raiders are enjoying themselves, along with their fans.
Paul Silas, Knick assistant coach, talking to former Scarsdale high school student Stephen Astis, has also made a cameo appearance, checking out the action. Paul very happy with the firing of Stu Jackson. Now Silas can be more vocal on the court and in practice. Felt like he was kept under wraps during the Stu Jackson reign. He's probably the only one who was happy with that firing.
Beautiful pass by Cooper. Bosian is blocked. And Knopp will set it up for the Raiders. Feuerstein fakes the pass, kicks it out to Cooper. Into Bosian. Pass to Knopp. No look to Feuerstein along the baseline. Looked like he was fouled, but no call was made, and we have a jump ball. As Maurice Cheeks heads for the Knick locker room.
Scarsdale foul is charged to Stephen Cooper, his second, and the team's fourth.
So here comes Ramapo.
Oakley.
Once again, the Raiders steal it. I was a little distracted there as, look at Pierce, another Knick player has entered the arena. Coming in from the, looks like he came in through the roof. He's taking the long route. It appears to be Gerard Mustaf, the rookie out of Maryland.
Scarsdale's offense has tapered off a little bit since that first 2 minute of the third period explosion that they had. But with the 40-28 lead, they're just looking to hold the rock and kill the clock.
And the Scarsdale foul is
Saw the foul on David Feuerstein there. Nichols took it strong to the basket, got the foul and the hoop. And Ramapo has closed it to within 12 as Nichols shoots the air ball. He'll remember that one for a while, an air ball on a foul shot in Madison Square Garden, but he's played well otherwise. As Ramapo puts in their full court press, Knopp breaks it with ease. And here comes Wallach. Swings it to Cooper. Beautiful pass under Nabosian, and he converts the layup. That play has worked to perfection all day long for Scarsdale.
Well, the pass was super and the positioning was super, but the key thing to that play was the head fake by Bosian. Once again, using the ball, using his head and shoulders, throwing the defender off, getting the easy layup. The subtleties of the game, so key to a winning basketball team and a good basketball player.
As Heltzer goes back door on Wallach for the layup.
Little taste of their own medicine right there.
I think Ramapo's really got to pick up the pace here. You know, Scarsdale's killing him on the offensive end in any way they've done it, either fast breaking or in the half-court offense. The key is what Ramapo can do on offense. As Bernstein with the steal, looking to go all the way. Beautiful strip that time by Knopp. But I think Ramapo, they're going to have to look to put up a couple threes here with almost 5 minutes left in the game, down by 12. And another steal by Feuerstein. He's had a brilliant day on defense all day long.
The whole Raider team has been brilliant on defense. You can't say enough about the man-to-man defense that they have played in the half-court offense. Really, they've abandoned their full-court pressures, except in spot situations. They haven't needed it. Ramapo has not proven that they were going to break the press, and that is why Scarsdale has stayed in the half-court offense.
Feuerstein dumps it down to Cooper. Turnaround jumper, rolls off the front iron, and Heltzer clears it for Ramapo.
It appears as if Scarsdale once again will be involved in a low-scoring affair, and that is to their benefit. Against teams like Mount Vernon and New Rochelle, they're going to have to keep the scores in the 50s and 60s. Watch Andrew Wallach. He got excited. He wanted to throw that one down in the Garden.
Once again, you saw Feuerstein with the steal. And right before that, you saw a beautiful swat by Stephen Cooper, playing the aggressive defense that Jack Hamner likes.
And he replaces Stephen Cooper.
Here are the Raiders once again looking to kill the clock. Bosian will take it strong. Nicely done. No tentativeness shown there on the part of Bosian. He did miss the shot. Might have drawn a little contact there. The official might have missed it. But it's good that he's taking it strong to the hoop. And now the Raiders will run that motion offense.
Bosian's had a strong game, both offensively and defensively, which is his main point on defense. And he puts on the floor. Good look that time by Bosian. Just a little bit too much on it and a little bit too much out of the reach of Robert Adis as Greg Grant, Nick guard, puts on his warm-up clothes, and he'll probably be shooting around after this game is over.
I was going to make myself look like a genius and say that Bosian's pass just prior to this defensive sequence should have been a bounce pass, but Jack Hamner beat me to the punch. If Bosian throws a bounce pass, Robert Adis has a layup, and that play looks so pretty. But Jack Hamner beat me to it.
Beautiful move that time by Nichols. He's had a great second half here for the Griffins. One of the few bright spots. And another bright spot for the Griffins has been number 12, Jordan. He was pushing the ball effectively in the third quarter. And we have a timeout now. We'll be back with the Raiders up by 10, 42-32, with just a little bit over 3 minutes remaining. So here we go. Raiders in total control now. They can't fool around with it too much, though, because they are only up by 10. But the Griffins have not shown any signs of bursting out here in the last couple minutes. But they do apply full court pressure. And here comes Andrew Wallach. He'll try to break it himself, and does. Look for Scarsdale to really hold the ball a lot now. Look for only easy shots, no forces. A lot of back screens and a lot of movement. And there we have one back screen. Doug Knopp unable to convert the layup. And here comes Jordan.
Nicely done, though, once again. The Raiders really milking that backdoor pass and using the baseline to the fullest advantage. Ramapo has got to make some kind of adjustment in order to make a run here in the final 2:40 of this fourth period. But I think it's all academic at this point.
That would have been that had the makings for an NBA blooper right there. That would have gone in. Bosian looking to set the pick for Knopp. Quick feet shown there by Nichols, but he picks up the foul.
I have not seen the Ramapo Griffins play the kind of quality basketball that they're capable of playing. Yesterday against Mount Vernon, yes, they did get blown out, but they played well. They ran the floor nicely, they rebounded off the defensive backboards, and they played defense. This is just embarrassing at this point. Beautifully done by David Feuerstein, and it counts.
David Siegel getting ready to check in now for the Raiders.
Ramapo foul charged to Brad Gilden, his first personal.
And Andrew Wallach.
And
Kiki Vandeweghe, New York Knicks number 55, has made a cameo appearance, heading back into the tunnel, talking with New York Knicks assistant coach Paul Silas and former Mount Vernon coach and now Miami Heat assistant coach Tony Fiorentino. Feuerstein's shot bounces around the rim and in. So the Raiders, with just over 2 minutes left, enjoying a 13-point lead.
And Jordan, the beautiful double pump, 12-foot jump shot. It's good. And he draws a foul on number 13, David Siegel.
You like to see the aggressiveness. Foul was on Adis, so correct Mike on that one. You like to see the aggressiveness, but with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left in the fourth period, you don't really want to foul a guy when he's taking a fall-away 15-footer. You don't really want to foul a guy with any juncture of the game, taking a fall-away 15-footer. Those are the shots you want him to have. You don't want to send him to the line for the foul shot.
David Siegel a little bit careless there. He's got to remember when he goes around the guy, he's behind him, and he's got to realize that he can poke it away from behind. But the Raiders will retain possession. Bosian inbounds to Knopp. He'll look to break the press by himself with a little help from Rob Adis, who sets a beautiful screen on Jordan. Raiders just looking to milk the clock right now. Lots of picks, lots of movement. Jack Hammer's forte. Beautiful pass by... Oh, beautiful play by David Feuerstein. He was way beyond the three-point line and threw a perfect pass right to David Siegel, right under the basket. And Siegel was able to convert the layup.
The Griffins really have to read that pass at this point because it's been done so many times, and someone has to drop down and pinch in from the weak side and make the steal. So far, I don't see that happening, and at this point, it's too late.
The Ramapo foul is charged to Tyrone Jordan, his second.
Brian Butler, the Chief, getting ready to check in. He replaces Mike Bosian. And that could be the end of Mike Bosian's career at the Garden. Pretty impressive playing there by Mike Bosian.
Doug Knopp on the line for the Raiders, 1-1.
Doug Knopp on the line, 1-1. And he hits the first. Raiders up 48-35.
Very impressive day for the Raiders. They're going to put the score in the 50s. And it looks as if they're going to hold Mount Vernon to at least the low 40s. Very nicely done. Ramapo Griffins. Check that. I think I said Mount Vernon.
I think Mike's got his mind on that big showdown with Mount Vernon in late January. We'll have that game on Cable 36.
And they replace David
I'm looking forward to that
and
one.
Doug Knopp.
So Knopp and Feuerstein take to the bench. And now they'll just soak up the victory and the environment. They did a nice job here in leading the Raiders to a victory. The two co-captains. Brian Jordan at midcourt screaming for that ball from Siegel, but Siegel did not want to make the risky pass at this point with under a minute left.
And the Raiders unable to get it over the timeline in time. 10-second violation. First time Ramapo's press has really been effective. As Todd Aaron, the junior, gets ready to check in. He'll be replacing number 22, Rob Adis.
And he replaces Robert Adis.
Little matchup problem now. David Siegel on the big guy, number 55, McKenzie, but could be too late for Ramapo. No basket. Foul was before the shot.
That is something that Ramapo did not do in the beginning stages of this game or throughout the game. You got to beat Scarsdale off the dribble defensively. They're too tenacious with the hands up and with the switching to beat them with a pass. If you can drive through the paint, attack the daylight, attack the seams, you could drive, draw, and dish. The 3 Ds, Mike. Ramapo did not do that here today.
As Jordan cans the 2 foul shots, bringing the Raiders lead within 12. It's going to take a miracle now for the Griffins to pull this one off. And Ryan Knopp draws the foul on Heltzer. As Paul Silas, Nick assistant coach, heads for the locker room. Hopefully with some words of wisdom for the slumping Knicks.
Ryan Knopp on the line for the Raiders, 1-1.
These Scarsdale Raider players will play at Madison Square Garden one time, and they will go home with a victory in that one time. Very nicely done. That's something they will tell their children and their grandchildren. Unless, of course, their children are professional athletes and they don't care.
Beautiful strip there by Todd Aaron. And he's slaughtered. Beautiful block, though, by Jordan. As Nichols blows the layup on the other end. A little excitement here in the closing stages. Knopp swings it to Todd Aaron, over to the Chief. Oh, he had Siegel wide open. You got to give that up. And then he's killed. Slammed to the floor by number 55, McKenzie. As number 34 and number 30, Joe Samson, and Chris Hudgens check in for number 24, Ryan Knopp, and number 13, David Siegel.
Number 34, Chris Hudgens into the game for.
Everybody gets to play here for the Raiders.
I think it is safe to say that this game here at Madison Square Garden was a huge success, win or lose. This is something that the Scarsdale players and Scarsdale coaching staff, and the Scarsdale community for that matter, will be talking about for a very long time. And it's all the more sweeter, so to speak, that the Raiders are going to pull out a victory. And they did it in tremendous fashion with a great defense. A few more of the Knicks starting to make their way. Greg Grant back on the floor again with Stu Gray, a man who has seen limited action.
Two seconds left. Brian Jordan. And that will do it. Scarsdale took it right to Ramapo. It was all uphill from there. And they come out with a 52-37 victory in Madison Square Garden. For Mike Burke, I'm Mike Schreier. Thank you.
Locker room after their game at Madison Square Garden. I'm with senior co-captain Doug Knopp. Doug, I spoke to you on Raider Roundup about what it was going to be like to play at the Garden. Right. Now what are your thoughts after you have played on the Garden floor?
Well, Mike, it was just as much a thrill as I thought it would be. I'm glad we came away here with a victory, though.
The defense in the half court was just incredible. The man-to-man defense. Can you play that kind of incredible defense against the teams like Mount Vernon and New Rochelle?
Yeah, I think our guards and our forwards have good quickness, you know. We don't have a true center, so we're an all-around quick team, and I think we could play good man-to-man defense against anyone in the section.
Do you think you'll ever play at Madison Square Garden again?
No.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that. Locker room here at Madison Square Garden. Rob, was playing on the garden floor everything you thought it would be?
It was incredible, honestly. Looking up at all the seats, it honestly was thrilling. It was thrilling. It was awesome.
Were you tempted to take that NBA three-point line? Because knowing you, I know you had the you had the itchy trigger finger.
I wasn't tempted. I took a few in warm-ups, hit a few. I hit my first one actually, but I wasn't tempted to take it in a game because this counts. When we got out on the floor, it was time to win.
And you have no confidence in the three-point shot, so you didn't feel like you should take the shot.
Exactly.
Okay, good. As long as for the team. Can you continue to play that unbelievable half-court defense that you played? You didn't even have to use the press.
I think our team is capable of playing incredible defense. Definitely, we can even raise it up a notch. I think that if we play solid defense, we could beat any team in the section. I think we can play better defense than we played today, or that we've played all season, because our guys really want to play defense. They want to make those steals. They want to get the deflections.
As big a deficit as it was yesterday when Ramapo played Mount Vernon, and as closer as it was here today, you guys played them better. How does that make you feel, considering you have Mount Vernon twice in January?
I feel very confident that we could really play with Mount Vernon. We beat them last year. I think we can beat them again. You know, who knows? The most important thing is when we get them in the tournament, if we get them in the tournament, and that's when we're going to have to play some serious D and take advantage of their mistakes. They got a lot of wild players on the team, a lot of great athletes, but they're wild. And I think that if we can take advantage of their sloppiness, we can beat them up.
That'll do it with Rob Adas.